What do you do when people reject you? What do you do when you don't get accepted in the way that you thought you were going to be accepted? And something happens, or somebody says something, or a judgment is made that you feel is completely disconnected from your intentions or what you felt you were putting out into the world. What do you do? It's hard. And been there, done that. I think we've all been there. We've all had those moments. One of the things, and if you don't know, I'm Lisa Taylor, and I share my walk with being a scientific Christian. I'm a student of Christian Science or divine science that has different terms, and I share my walk on this path, and in the hopes that you can find some light in this and find some truth in here that would support you in your path. So I share it from that place of just offering my own experience. Not that this is right or that I'm right at doing this. I'm just trying to be really vulnerable and share my experience with this stuff. So it's not about me. It's about this science. It's about being a scientific Christian and what does that look like? And when you feel rejected or judged by others, it can be really hard. And walking around on the planet in these little spacesuits is not always the easiest place to be. It can be challenging. I mean, if you look at Jesus, he was crucified in the end. So he didn't have an easy walk humanly. That's not to say that we need to do that, but what is it that keeps us from crumbling in those instances? There's a passage in the Bible that says, when Christ, who is our life, shall appear, then shall we also appear with him in glory. It's like, well, when Christ, who is our life, shall appear, it's like, well, what is the Christ that is our life? It's that true idea of us. There's a passage, Mrs. Eddy has lots of different ways of talking about the Christ, and she's the woman who discovered Christian Science and articulated this science. She says, Christ is the true idea, voicing good, the divine message from God to men, speaking to the human consciousness. It's like, well, if the message from God is speaking to me and to my consciousness, and it's the true idea that I am made in the image and likeness of God, that I am the divine image, that I am the divine likeness, can I claim that? Am I willing to claim that? And is that enough to see through the rejection, to not take on the rejection as part of my identity? Is it enough to see the true idea of me, know who I am, and then be able to walk freely and not feel attacked by the opinions of others? What they think of us is none of our business. What other people think of us is none of our business. That's their walk with God. None of our business. We can love them. We can forgive them. We can be free from their opinions. We do not need to feel a pressure of other people's thoughts. We get to be free from that, but we're only going to feel free from that if we are actively claiming our true identity. If we are, when Christ, who is our life, shall appear, shall be made conscious to us, then we will appear with him in glory. So we've got to be very clear in our identification of ourselves every day, every moment of every day, but definitely at the beginning of the day. I mean, I'm such a fan of a daily practice. That's the only reason I'm here, is because I started in seventh grade and I never stopped. And my mom said, just read a little bit of the Bible before you go to school today. It was actually the Bible lesson, the Christian Science Bible lesson, and I would read a section of the lesson every day. And that day, the first day I did it, I know you guys, those of you who have followed me have heard this before, but that first day that I read the lesson, or just a little section, like I sat on the edge of my bed and I opened the Bible and I read a section of the lesson, that day was so different from any other day I'd ever had. I thought, what? Reading for 5 minutes, praying for 5 minutes before I go to school gets me this? I'm doing this the rest of my life. This is awesome. It was like so amazing. Everything was in harmony. Everything worked out. I said the right, this is seventh grade. That's like the most awkward grade ever. I said the right things. I ran into the right people. I did well in school. It was like, I don't know. I think I might have even had an audition of some sort that day for band or chorus or something. Like everything went well. I was at my best. And I kept seeing more and more of the truth of me so that other people's opinions about me, I didn't take on as mine. And I think that's really something that we can do always. And it's not just hard as a junior high student, it's hard as adults. So we get to learn from our other experiences where it did go well and go forward with that. Anyway, so I love this work and I invite you to the same work. You're probably, if you're watching this, you're probably already doing it. But I would love to know, what are you willing to claim? I am blank. What are you willing to claim as you as the likeness of God? What are you willing to claim? And let that be the defense against other opinions or the world's opinion about who you are, because the world doesn't know you, God knows you. So stay on the side with God's knowing of you and claim that. And that will be a defense. And then you won't feel rejected. You won't feel condemned by others. You will know who you are, and you can stand firmly on that and stand really tall and walk forward and be that shining light for others to say, hey, I want what you're having. I want to feel that confidence. I want to feel that walk with God that you feel. How do you do that? And then, it snowballs and we get to share with others.